Good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to attend the session focusing on Sage Accounting. Most of you will know it as Sage Business Cloud Accounting or Sage One Accounting before that. This is a recent renaming by Sage, so if you see this name, please know that it's the same product. The agenda for today will be the welcome and introduction. Then we will have a Sage Accounting live demo, including a features discussion, followed by a Q&A session. Why are we having this session today? It will be to show you a live demo of Sage Accounting to see how easy it is to use, but also focus on the functionality of a product. During the live demo, we will also run you through key capabilities and functions of Sage Accounting. There will also be a brief discussion regarding the 30-day free trial, which you can use obligation-free, and also other pricing options. Please note that the session is recorded. If you have any connectivity issues or need to leave early, we will send you a link of the recording by email tomorrow. Questions are welcome during the session. Please look for the Q&A button on your Teams interface. If you click on that, select the Ask a Question option, and we will then answer that at the end of the session during the Q&A part. Please note that in detail and client-specific questions will be answered to clients directly via email or phone call after the session is completed, if it's not something that is a general answer. Your presenter for today is Louise Viljoen. Louise has been with Preferred Solutions Group for nearly 10 years, but she has been in the accounting and payroll industry for over 20 years. She's our go-to source of knowledge and information on small to medium business accounting, as well as payroll systems. Louise is also an excellent and qualified trainer on various Sage software. Let's start our live demo session. Louise, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I am Louise Viljoen, and I'm happy to see all of you that joined today. Welcome to our session, and I hope you're doing well on this Tuesday morning. I know it's November, and it can be a challenging and hard month to push through to the last part of this year, getting to the holidays. So yes, thank you so much for joining and taking the time to attending this webinar. I'm going to switch off my camera as I'm going to share my screen because I want to show you as most of the product as possible so that you get a look and feel of how the system will work. Some of you might know me. I deal with Partner and Express and the Sage Accounting, as well as payroll systems, various payroll systems, support and training. So I am here, you'll hear my voice and you will see what I show on screen. So my job today is to show you the Sage Accounting system. As Leon so nicely explained to us, that please don't think you're in the wrong webinar if you think of Sage Accounting. Sage Accounting, Sage One, Sage Business Cloud Accounting is all the same system, just with a different name. It started off with Sage One Accounting. So you will also see, let me share my screen, and then you will see on the system that your login link will still be Sage One. That is the link to the system, but Sage now refers to it as Sage Accounting, which is much easier to remember than the whole long Sage Business Cloud Accounting. But that's all one and the same product. So I will show you today a brief overview of what the system looks like. If you need more detail of the system, please be in contact with us so that we can book an additional session with you so that we can focus on your specific business needs. We had some questions when you registered I know Portia, I think I saw your name here, Portia from F&S Scaffolding. Portia had a specific question about hiring and returning the scaffolding stock. That, Portia, is something that I would definitely like to have a session with you scheduled between us so that I can show you specifically how that will be done. So please be in contact with us afterwards. Then I would like to share some information with you. Last week, we attended a meeting in Johannesburg with the UK developers of Sage Accounting, and that was really exciting. There's amazing progress in the system, so I cannot tell you too much at this stage, but what I can share with you that there are definitely development in place. And they are going to incorporate and integrate into the system the Copilot system as well as auto entry. So Copilot will enable you to automate some of your processes so that you really have a hands-on accounting system. And then the auto entry's job is to upload your documents so that you don't need to capture them manually. So instead of capturing invoice detail, for instance, for buying print, stationery and printing, you can upload that document and it will then be automatically be uploaded onto your Sage accounting system. So just on that point, the auto entry system is already available with a separate login and separate subscription. So if you're interested in a functionality like that, please be in contact with us as well. The aim of the development team is to bring it as an integrated part of the system with Copilot. So yes, that is exciting times on the horizon. If you choose to move to this system, there will definitely be development going forward. So before we jump into the live demo, I would just like to confirm and tell you more about our services that we offer. So we will assist you with setting up your new system completely, from your user to your subscription to your company. Once all of that is done, we will take your hand and show you how the system works. And then, of course, we will make sure that your data coming from Pastel Partner or Express or other software systems will be uploaded and converted to the Sage accounting system. There is a seamless conversion that the Cloud Convert team of Sage will do for us. We just need a backup of your data, which we upload, and the data will then be converted. That conversion, I know we had another question. I'm not sure if Hayla is in the session today, but she asked specifically, how would you have access to your previous years of data once you moved over? Now, the nice thing of the conversion is that the Cloud Convert team will convert your data as it currently is on your Pastel Partner or Pastel Express or other accounting system. It will be converted with 2 years of transactional data, and before that, it will be in the form of balances. So you will not lose information. If it is old information that you need transaction history of and need to reprint invoices, then you will have to rely on your Pastel Partner Express system, which will go into view-only mode. So you will always have access to that in view-only mode for reprinting of documents like that, being older than 2 years. The balances will be converted, but not the actual document, if it is older than 2 years. If you do not have a current accounting system and you rely on Excel, for instance, for your accounting, we can also assist you with setting up your company. Then we will make use of importing your master file information, your customers, suppliers, and inventory lists. We will import that for you and then add your opening balances to the system. And from there, you will be able to work on your new system. So as mentioned, we will provide you with training, so you don't have to worry about figuring out things yourself. We will provide training for you, and we provide ongoing support as well. There was another question on the registrations from Glynis. I'm also not sure if Glynis is in this meeting today, but her question was about the reporting. Now I'll get to the reporting a bit later, but specifically the GL codes, and I know that is something that you might have heard before, that on Pastel Partner and Express, we relied on having an account code with a description. It was 2 separate fields, but in Sage Accounting, it is 1 field. We do not have account numbers. And with a conversion, that account number basically goes over and are converted in the form of a description. So your description will be your account number with the description added. Going forward on your new system, it will be completely up to you whether you want to continue with that to have the account number added in front of a description, or then just have the description. So Glynis, if you are in this meeting, I hope that answered your question. All right, so this system includes all the main features and benefits of an online-based platform with so much more. It is definitely designed with ease of use in mind, and it's extremely user-friendly. So I am going to log in now. I just want to mention while I'm on the screen, we will send out a link to you so that you can access the system. And then please make use of this demo company option here at the bottom right. You can access that demo company, and you can really play around with the system and get a look and feel of the system yourself before you decide to move over. Leon also mentioned previously the 30-day trial period. Yes, there's definitely a 30-day trial period that you can make use of. After that trial period expires, your subscription can just be activated, or you can decide not to continue with the system. You'll be under no obligation to actually continue with your subscription after the 30 days. But the benefit is, if you do sign up and you have login details, remember, we'll help you with that sign up and getting your subscription ready. But if you do sign up, your 30-day trial period will start, and every work that you do in that trial period will not be lost. When your trial period expires, you can just continue working if you are happy with the system. So your trial period, 30 days, and your information will definitely not be lost. Okay, so I'm going to log in now. You're welcome to ask questions throughout. Leon will check the questions for me, and he will then let me know if there's any questions, and I'll answer it as we go along. All right, so this is what the system looks like, and I want to start with pointing out the ease of use and really user-friendly environment that you have here. It has a welcoming screen with this workspace, which is completely customizable according to your needs. You can use it or you don't have to use it. You're welcome to make use of the menus as well. I especially like working with the menus because it's easier for me as a support consultant and trainer to navigate and guide you. Click on the customer menu, click on transactions and invoices, for instance, to do your invoicing. But if you're comfortable and like the icons, you can. You also have different dashboards that you can work with, and you can set up your user to be on the dashboard screen that you would like to work with. If you customize your work screen or your workspace, you can, for instance, say, no, I don't want to import bank statements, so I really don't need that there. So you can customize it and you can move around the order and then save it, and it will be customized according to what you would like to see it in which order. Okay, coming back to the menus, I want to show you the layout of the menus. And you know that from Pastel Partner, we are familiar with the terms customers and suppliers and items for our inventory. So that is our debtors and creditors, our inventory items. Remember, inventory items can be physical or service item, and this system will track your stock for you. And then, of course, your banking. But the important thing I want to show you here is, if you look at the layout of the menu, for customers, we have add customer, list of customers, transactions, which is basically your processing, reports, special. Please ignore time tracking and debtors manager for now. That is additional modules that you can purchase, which will not be part of your list here if you did not purchase that additional module. I will tell you more about the additional modules a bit later. So if you look from add a customer up to special, and I move over to suppliers, you will see exactly the same order over to items, and even to your banking. So the layout, I'm sorry, accounts. I left out accounts. That's your GL accounts. So the layout of your menus are all basically the same. So making your navigation really easy. As mentioned, it is user-friendly. So it is a system where you can actually figure out where you need to go. With that in mind, I want to show you, if we go into your list of customers as an example, you will see that your list of customer screen has a grid, and this grid is the same layout on all the screens. If I go to my supplier list, you will see the layout is basically the same. And you can see that I'm not very creative, because I don't have different suppliers. I just have supplier 1, 2, and 3. I always lose it when I need to think of a nice supplier to use. At customers, you will see I am my own main customer, and the rest I couldn't think of other names. So bear with me, I'm not very creative, but I will get the job done for you. All right, so your grid is very easy to read, and important to remember is if something is blue, you can click on it to open it. And you will also have actions here towards the right, which I will show you a bit more of just now. So if, for instance, we look at our list of customer currently, we look at my customer, just click on the blue to open it. Here we have my customer detail with postal address and all the basic information that you can enter. You can also link your customer to a category. If I click on category, I am an account customer, or I can be a cash customer, a COD customer, whichever you need to set up, you can set that up. Or on the fly, you can just click on add new category and add a new category for this customer. Just coming back to what I mentioned about the conversion, if this was a conversion from, for instance, Pastel Partner, your conversion would have been something like this, VIL001, and then the name of the customer. So that is typically what your converter data will look like for customers, suppliers, your inventory with codes, and your GL accounts will have that in front of the description. And it is changeable. I can just remove it or I can add it. So going forward, as I mentioned, it's up to you if you want to keep using that code in front of the description. Going back to our lists, I just want to mention that you have your sales rep codes as well, which you can add and allocate per customer, which will keep track of your sales reps, the sales according to the sales rep, and customer categories that I mentioned. So it is listed here on your menu at lists. However, you don't need to set it up from there. You can work with it straight from your customer by adding it there. And there we have our sales rep field. And once again, my very creative rep number 1 and rep number 2. Or you can add additional sales reps from the screen that you are currently in. And then when you're done with changes, you can just scroll down and save the changes or save and new to move on to a new customer. And the system will take you back to your list of customers screen because you are working with customers. You can also from this screen then add a customer or you can import customers. Remember, I mentioned that if you did not make use of an accounting system previously and maybe just made use of Excel, we can import your customers, your suppliers, all your master file accounts. We can import by using that feature there. We will just help you with a correct layout of the Excel sheet, and then we'll update your customers for you. So even going forward, if you suddenly have 10 or 20 or 100 new customers or inventory items to add, please do not add them manually. Give us a call and we will assist you with getting that list ready to import your master file accounts. All right. From this screen, you will be able to have actions where you can do an invoice, do a quote, do a sales order, or even view your statement from this screen. You will be able to delete an account, but the same rule applies as with your Pastel Partner or other accounting software. You cannot delete a customer or a code, supplier, inventory, GL account if there's history on. So you'll only be able to delete it without any history on that account. Okay, so that is your grid. If we move over to your suppliers, I'm not going to go through the whole supplier list, but just to show you that this grid is really the same layout. You have the same add a supplier button with your import and your actions here to the right. Moving back to customers, a very nice feature I just quickly want to show you. There's so much I can show you, but I want to show you the most important ones. If you need to do a bulk update of information changing on your system, you can use these buttons to the left. If I use that one there, it will select all my customers and I can go and update my detail. So I can select customers and update their category or update their sales rep, for instance, all at once. If I move them all to sales rep number 2 and save it, it means that with a click of a button, I changed all my customers to now be linked to sales rep number 2. So that is quite a nice feature to do bulk updates on your customer list screen. Let's move on to transactions and doing invoices. So if I look at my invoice screen, also we have a grid. So the same layout basically applies. Everything that's blue, we can click on to open it. We have the add a tax invoice button there to the top right or left corner. If you would like to add a new tax invoice, I will tell you a bit more about recurring invoices just now. And you have your actions here to the right. You also have a status column, which is quite a nice feature to show you that this invoice is paid, but this one is overdue. There we have a partially paid invoice. So it can be that a portion of the invoice has been credited or partially paid. So you have this status that the system will automatically allocate as a payment is allocated or credit note is allocated. If I open up this invoice as an example, this is what your invoice screen will look like, giving you your invoice detail, which is straightforward to select from. And then here you have your invoice lines. And if I scroll down a bit, your invoice totals. Remember that invoices can be linked to your inventory items. It can be linked to account codes, or it can be linked to bundles. Let me just show that to you. Okay, there we go. So if I click on that column, I have the 3 options to invoice 2 items, which is my stock items being physical or service items, invoicing straight into my general ledger accounts, or we have the added feature here of bundles. Bundles, please note that bundles are not manufacturing. Bundles are just the capability to invoice more than one item at the same time. Let's say, for instance, we sell a bundle of a laptop with a mouse and a printer. One price for those 3 items being sold together. Then you can set up a bundle for the 3 items. And when you sell the bundle, it will sell 3 items together for you. So that is an added feature, but please note it's not manufacturing. Okay, so you will set up this system with an easy toggle there between your inclusive and exclusive processing. But this setup comes from your item codes and your customers, just as in Pastel Partner. And you can then select the quantity and the price will be there for you, or you can enter the price with the totals. Here at the bottom, you will then be able to save the invoice. You can email the invoice, or you have the option to print the invoice with a delivery note or email the invoice with a delivery note. I'm just going to use the print preview option to show you an example of what this invoice will look like. And there you can see my creativity again with my nice test logo for my test company. All right, so this was really the click of a button to add this logo. So it is really easy to customize your invoices according to your needs. We can really change the layout. You can just tell us what you need it to look like, and we can change the layout for you. I want to tell you about this note that we have here on the line. That is my inventory item, and that includes user setup. It's just a random note that was added. So I just want to show you here on your invoice lines, you can add line notes. You will see here you have this little block, looks like a little page of paper next to our type. This one is highlighted in blue and this one is grayed out, meaning that one has a note. This one does not have a note. So if I click on my note, there we will see the note. Sorry, I just need to edit because I've already changed it. But there you will see the note that we've added to the line that printed on the invoice. So this note is also changeable as you go along, and it will be attached to the line. I'm just going to click on save here. I'm not going to print my invoice now, but that is what your invoice screen looks like. Now I want to show you how easy it is to do a credit note on the system. Let's take the second invoice as an example. Now you will see that on your customer menu and transactions, we have credit notes listed separately, which will be a list of all the credit notes that have been done on the system. But I don't go to my credit note screen to do a credit note. I want to start with my invoice because this is the invoice that I want to credit. So here on my actions towards the right, I want to click on my actions, and there you have the option to create a credit note. So I click on create credit note, and here my credit note is created, linked to the correct customer, referring to my invoice number, with the correct line items and quantities. I can go and change. If I only want to credit a line at a time or some of the quantities, then I can amend my credit note here. But here I'm just going to click on save because I'm happy with my credit note. I just want to credit the whole credit invoice. And here we are on the credit note screen. Because we've done a credit note, the system automatically takes you to the customer credit note listing screen, and there we have our credit note that we just processed. And if we move back to our customer tax invoices screen, you will see that this invoice, now are flagged as paid. I know it's not physically paid, but it has a credit effect. That is why it is flagged as paid. And if I move back to my transactions and my credit notes, you will see that the credit note is listed here. And one amazing feature which I would like to show you on actions is the re-invoice option. Because you know that most of the times that we do a credit note, it is a credit note to correct something. Maybe it was invoiced on the wrong customer account, the invoice. So we need to credit it from the wrong account and re-invoice it. So instead of physically going and processing a new invoice, you just use this re-invoice function. If you click on re-invoice, everything from that original invoice is copied here again, but now you can go and fix whatever was the issue. Let's say it was the incorrect customer, so it should have been not test retail customer, but test wholesale customer, for instance. Yes, we want to switch the customer, and all of our details stays the same, and we just save to create our new invoice. So that could have been any change. It could have been a quantity, an amount, tax that maybe we processed incorrectly, but there we've done our new invoice as a re-invoice of our original one. Also now we ended up on the tax invoice screen because we've re-invoiced and done a tax invoice. Right. The next one I want to show you is the recurring invoices screen. So on recurring invoices, I don't know if any one of you might need this feature, but recurring invoices are really for something like monthly levies or monthly subscriptions. It doesn't have to be monthly only, it can be weekly, but it needs to recur. It needs to be the same every month. So here on recurring invoices, you will set up your recurring batch. I have one example here. If I open this invoice, and you will see there's an R in front of the invoice number. So this is not the actual invoice. This is just the setup of the invoice. So if I open up this recurring invoice, this screen looks basically the same as your normal invoice screen. There we have our line with monthly levy of R1,000 that needs to be invoiced every month. But the magic of the recurring invoice is in your frequency and how you create that recurrence. So my frequency I've set to every month, but here you have options of every day, week, second week. So many options you have here, even every year, if it's an annual subscription. So let's do every month. And then you can select your start date. So starting from the 1st of December, I want this invoice to run every month. There can be an end date. If it's only a year's subscription or a year's levies, you can add an end date or you don't have to. Then it will just go on until you stop it. I mean, this is where the magic lies. Create invoice is set to automatically. You can set it to as draft. Then you first need to go through the invoices and actually click a button to have the invoice being processed. But if you select automatically, that invoice on the 1st of December will automatically be generated. You can just go to your invoice list screen and the invoice will be there. It will be emailed to the customer and the invoice will be generated automatically. Here you will see on your recurring invoice list screen, it shows you your next run. So the next run will be the 1st of December. Once that is done, my last run date will be the 1st of December and my next run date will be the 1st of January 2026. So once the setup of your recurring invoices is done, you don't need to change anything except if there's an increase, for instance, in the levy that you need to change. But further than that, you can just forget about it and just check on your invoice screen monthly, the invoices will be there automatically. So recurring invoices and tax invoices works hand in hand. Okay, so that was now a bit about your customers. You have reports. I will tell you a bit about reports later. On suppliers, I'm not going to go through the whole supplier invoice structure. It is exactly the same as your customer invoicing. This will just be where you buy your stock. So you buy your stock to sell your stock on the supplier screen. And then inventory items is where you will set up your inventory items and you can set them up as being, if I open this one as an example, your inventory items can be either physical so that it's counted or service so that it is not counted. And it can also be split into categories. Just one thing I would like to mention while we discussed customer invoices. Remember, I showed you that you can email your invoices to your customers once you've done your invoice. There is a function on the system that is called the customer zone. So if you are set up for the customer zone, and that is really just a checkbox that we need to mark, the first time the customer receives their invoice via email, they will also receive a link to the customer zone. The customer zone is not your accounting system. Please be sure of that. It's not your accounting system. It is just a login that the customer receives to have access to their invoices. So they will have a login and they will have a list of their invoices which they can reprint on their own time. So they will not need to phone you to ask you, please send me a copy of an invoice. They can just log into their customer zone, which will be linked to their own password and login details, and then reprint their invoices from there. So the customer zone is also quite a nice feature that is included in your standard subscription. Then I want to show you on the, not administration, on the company menu, I want to show you a bit of additional features that's included in your standard subscription, like assets. Here we have an asset register, which the system will compile for you. Please note that it will not do revaluation of your assets for you, but it will give you a report of your assets according to categories. For instance, whether it is office or kitchen or warehouse assets, and locations, which office this specific asset is in. If I go to list of assets, you will see that I don't have any assets listed here, but I can start adding my assets and it will be the same grid as the layout of the other screens. And on adding an asset, not to go into too much detail, even though you won't be able to do revaluation, it's really just a list, you will be able to add the purchase price, the replacement value, and the current value. You can go and update every year. Then back to company, that was the assets. Also, I would like to mention that you can set up your budgets here on the system, and the same applies with our list of budgets. So here you will have a grid with the different budgets listed here. And that is the nice thing about the budgets here. This is just an example of a budget layout screen. You can have more than one budget. You can have a budget per department, and then you can set up per month, per your general ledger account, what the budget for that specific department will be. And you can just change the budgets and print your reports with comparison to that specific budget. And then what I want to get to is the analysis codes. You can do project tracking on the system by using analysis codes. Now, if I open up analysis codes, you will see that we have 3 analysis codes that we can set up. And these names that you see here, I've given those names. Here, I've been a bit more creative. Region, you can then split your region into different analysis codes. Cape Town, Johannesburg, you will see throughout the system this little green plus and red minus sign. This is to add more codes or to delete some of the lines. So it is unlimited, the amount of analysis codes that you have under each one of your 3 categories. So I've split it as an example between region, department, and then projects. That's just an example. You can name them here. There I've named this one project, so you can change it to whichever name you would like and then fill in your analysis codes beneath that. Now, after setting up your analysis codes, if I quickly go back to our invoice screen, now that you know about the analysis codes, it will make sense to you that you need to link each one of your analysis codes for project tracking to each one of your processing lines. So on the invoice, if you scroll to the right, you will have your region, department, and project columns, and you will be able to click there and select. For instance, this must be Cape Town, region, and link it to a department of admin, and the project here will be project number 1, my creativity. And then you just save that. So on each one of your processing documents, whether it is on customers, suppliers, or even your banking screens, I will show you now at the banking, you will have your analysis codes, columns or fields where you can allocate that cost to. And then, of course, you will have reports to print according to that. While I mentioned banking, let me show you what the banking will look like. So here you have a list of your bank accounts and you have your transactions, and we will go straight to banking. I'm just going to leave here, not save my changes. It warns you, so that was nice to see. If you forgot to save your changes, you will get a warning, and you can click on cancel to save it, or just leave if you don't want to save the changes. So on your banking screen, you have 3 options. You have the manual processing that we can fill out the lines, type it up ourselves. So that is not the best option to choose, but that is your manual processing. Then your second option is that you can import your bank statements. You can export your bank statement from your online banking in OFX or CSV or whichever format, and then we can import the bank statements here. But the best option will be to set up bank feeds. Because this is my demo company, I cannot show you physically the bank feed setup because I cannot link it to an account, but we will assist you with setting up your bank feeds. That means once that is done, every time you open up your system and you come to your banking screen, if there was a new payment or received amount on your bank statement, it will feed through automatically. I know some customers are concerned about security, but please remember, the system does not access your online banking system to transact. It can never transact on your online banking. It is just to pull through your bank statement information, and it will automatically be listed here in the form of transactions. That will eliminate human error, and it will make your recon so much easier, because at the end of the month, your recon really should be in balance because the transactions pulled through straight from your bank statement. The date, the description, I don't have descriptions because I've done this manually, but the date, the description will pull through from your bank statement with whether it is spent, a payment, or received, money received from your bank. All you will need to do then is to go and allocate this line to an account. Whether it is, if I click here in the type column, whether it is the GL account, a customer account, supplier account, a transfer between banks, or a VAT payment that you're going to make. In this example, it is a general ledger account paying for printing and stationery. We have our VAT processing that you can also select from there, the different VAT options, and then the received amount. Okay, this is not a good example because we're paying this, so it should ideally be in the spent column, not money received for printing and stationery. If I go to a blank line, you will see here that we can, for instance, select transfer, and then I can say that I want to transfer money to the test bank account, and there's no VAT applicable, so it's grayed out, and it is a 10,000 Rand that I'm going to transfer. And it will automatically then be in my test bank account as well. If you look at the icons here towards the right, I want to show you that you can create mapping rules. So with your bank feeds all set up, and transactions pulling through automatically, you can set up mapping rules. For instance, if the customer pays and they always use their customer name, we can set up a rule to say that every time the system sees Louise Viljoen, it should go to the customer account, Louise Viljoen. So there you can set up your mapping rules and you can also manage them afterwards. Then this icon here is for a split transaction. If this payment of 1,500 was, for instance, a payment made card swipe at Checkers, but it was not only for printing and stationery, it was maybe for staff refreshments as well. You can go and split the transaction into different lines with different accounts allocated to that one line. Then we have the paperclip, which is an attachment. If we really bought stationery here, you can go and scan and upload that attachment to the line. And then this one here, very nice feature for the customer, is your allocation icon. You will be familiar with open item allocations from Postal Partner and Express, so this is similar to that. You will allocate this payment and match it to an invoice. So this payment for 2405.50 will match this invoice here, or I can split it between invoices and save the information. You will see there's an orange color now showing me that I have allocated a payment on that line. So that is just quickly to show you the banking. The banking, I know, is usually the most work and the most important work, but this system really tries to make it the easiest of it all, especially if you have your bank feeds linked. And then eventually with your bank recon, it will really save you time and you'll have a seamless bank recon every month. Okay, I am nearly done. I must check the time because I can go on and on like this. I'm going to save this screen here and quickly show you a bit on reporting. I mentioned previously, Glynis, you had a question about the reporting and the GL codes, but I think I answered that. The code will be part of the description. But what I want to show you on the reports is that you do have your reports menu here, which will include all your reports. But for convenience and ease of use, on each one of your menus, you will also have a reports option with reports specifically for this menu feature. Customer reports will only be about customers. Similar to here you have on reports, your customer option will give you the same list of reports, but it's just easier to maybe go to customers and print the statement from there. I'm not going to focus on statements now. However, there is a statement run. So with a click of a button, you will be able to run statements to all your customers if they have email addresses set up. And also those emails do not have to go through your Outlook. So you don't have to update your Outlook, link to your Outlook. It can be linked to any email account. The statements will definitely run from there. I'm going to show you as an example our customer transactions report. You can obviously select your customer. And then I'm just going to select my customer again. And you can select a category if you only want to print for a specific category. But the nice thing here is that you can select your date range. Here you have so many options. Obviously, you have your normal monthly with your current and previous and so forth that you can select. Or you can do a month to date. You can do custom dates where you can specify from which to which day you want to see. And my favorite is live to date. If you're searching for something, if you're trying to recon something, live to date is a lifesaver because it really shows you everything that happened on that customer from the start up until now. And this is then what your report will look like. From here, you can save your report as PDF. You can export it to Excel, to CSV. You can physically print it, or you can email it either to yourself or to your customer if you want to send the customer, for instance, their transaction listing. And that is basically report. So the last thing I want to tell you quickly is that there is a mobile app for this system as well. So for your convenience, you can then load it onto your cell phone, and you'll be able to, if you have a rep going out to a customer, they can actually do the sales order there, and it is live. If they click on save, it's live on the system and you can generate the invoice from there. So there is a mobile app as well. That is all part of your standard subscription. If I go here to administration and my account, you will see that you can manage your own subscription. And by managing your subscription, you can upgrade yourself, or you can ask us to assist you. The first time will definitely help you. You can manage recurring payments, which is quite nice because you can set up a debit order if you would like to. Then you don't need to remember about paying your monthly subscription, and you have the Pay Now button. If you upgrade, you can add additional companies, you can add additional users, and you can add additional modules. Now, additional modules is time tracking. If you need to capture time sheets, you can make use of the time tracking module. We have multi-currency, which is very nice because it's automatically updating your foreign exchange amount because it's an online system. And the nice thing about the multi-currency is that you can link it per company. You don't have to pay for multi-currency for all companies if you only use it in one company. Then there's also the advanced inventory module that you can add, which will seamlessly track your quantities and the true value of your inventory on hand. But with your standard module, it will already do that tracking for you. Adding the advanced inventory will just split it on your general ledger account to give you the cost of sales account as well. And then the last module is your debtors manager module. So the debtors manager module is very nice to manage your debtors balances. You can set up a workflow. It will automatically send out statements, send out invoices as you manage it, as you decide that workflow to be, on which days it should go out. So that is quite a nice added module which you can add to your system. So from here, I think that is all I have to show you today. I hope you saw a lot, and I hope it interests you. But if you have more needs for special features that you need to see, please contact us. Leon, I think it's over to you then if there's some questions that we need to look at.
Thank you, Louise. We don't have any questions yet. I'm going to allow 2 minutes if anybody wants to drop a question in the chat or Q&A. You did such a great job in explaining. I'm not sure if there would be any questions. Let's see.
Okay, that's great. I'm going to leave my screen shared if there's a question and I need to show you something on the system.
Perfect.
Sorry, just from my side, I know everybody is pushed for time and we did schedule this for an hour and I can talk a lot. So if you're stuck on time, please just let us know via email afterwards and we will get back to you.
Okay, Louise, we have a question from Gideon. How would you do a trial balance? How does the ledgers work on here?
Okay, as you process your transactions and you link it to your general ledger accounts, that information will be compiled on your trial balance. And if I can just show you here on your reports menu and financial statements, you have your option of your trial balance, balance sheet, and profit and loss, which is basically your income statement. If I open up the trial balance, I'm just going to do it yearly for the current year. For now, as an example, we can compare it with last year. View the report. And this is then what our trial balance will look like with our previous year figures and our current year figures. Please don't take too much notice of the amounts you see here. This is me playing around. But here you have your list of accounts, whether it's debit or credit balances you have, and then your profit and loss at the bottom. I hope that answers your question.
Right. We have a second question. How do we access the test space? I assume this would be the 30-day trial.
But the 30-day trial, remember there is an option to do the 30-day trial period where we will help you to set up your user, your online user, or you also have that demo company. Leon, I think afterwards we can just email everybody the link to access the system. And then when you open the system, I just want to show you, sorry, I will need to close here completely just to log back in quickly. This link we will email to you, and then when you get to this screen here, you can sign up as a user, but please remember, if you sign up as a user, your 30-day trial period will start to count down. If you just want to play around, you can use this demo company option here. If I click on demo company, I don't need to enter that username and password detail. You just click on demo and you have a full system that you can really go and play around with. You cannot break the demo company. They reset it every morning. So here will be funny names and funny invoices that you see, but you can open it and you can play around with that. But your trial period will start the moment you sign up as a user, and we want you to use that effectively as part of your subscription.
Thank you, Louise. One more question. Gideon is asking, doing transfers between ledgers or entering information on journals?
Okay. You can process journals. I'm in the demo company now. I'm not going to switch back to my test company, but I just want to show you on accountants area, you have your process journal entries. You also have the option to set up recurring journal entries. For that, maybe bank charges that's happening monthly, but you need to change that value, or payroll journals that happens monthly, you just need to change the values. But if I open up the journal processing, this is the same concept where we have our what this affecting account will be, whether it's debit, we select the account, and the affecting account will have the credit effect with a contra account that you specify there. So here you can set up your journals like similar to the other systems. Just on this, while I'm on the accountants area, this is also where you will do your VAT processing. It will assist you with your payments, your VAT returns. As you do your processing, your VAT report will compile from there, and you can really just go and run your VAT report, see what's payable, double check everything, and then it also has the functionality to close off your VAT period. And once you close off your VAT period, you won't be able to go and make changes to a transaction. And that's very important because the system is very lenient in that way that you can actually change transactions. But the moment you close the VAT period, it locks that transaction and you cannot change that transaction anymore. You first then need to reopen a VAT period if you really need to go and change it. But we always think twice about reopening because we already paid over to SARS. I've moved off the point a bit, but I hope that answered the question about the journals. Is there anything else, Leon?
Sorry, that is the end of the questions, Louise. Thank you so much. We have come to the end of our meeting. We have run a little bit over. Thank you for everybody who stayed on for the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, as Louise has mentioned, please email us at sales@prefsol.co.za. If it is a support question, it will be forwarded to our support team. Otherwise, you will be in great hands with our sales department, or you can give us a call on our central switchboard on the number on the screen, 021 840 2620. As mentioned earlier, the recording of a session will be emailed to you. I will also ensure that the link that Louise mentioned regarding playing around on the demo company will be there. And a short survey just with some feedback if you have any questions or on how we can improve our webinars going ahead. Louise, thank you so much once again for the wonderful presentation. It was fantastic, it was informative, and I do feel that it was helpful to our clients. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Leon. Bye-bye, everyone.